Welcome to the Ken Harbaugh Show. In the wake of the election, it seems like everyone is talking about Joe Rogan and the role that right-wing online influencers played in delivering the win to Donald Trump. It's a fair observation. Joe Rogan's reach is undeniable. His interview with Trump got over 60 million views. Add in the other influencers who are part of the so-called manosphere, and you're looking at a media behemoth that is reshaping wholesale America's political discourse. And mainstream outlets are finally taking notice. Check out this headline in Adweek about Rogan's dominant position compared to legacy outlets like MSNBC and Fox. But look closer. There's one news network that beat even Joe Rogan's numbers. And it wasn't a legacy media giant. It was MeidasTouch, this network. Something seismic is happening in the media landscape, and we are right in the middle of it. Now, this is a shift that's bigger than any single show or channel, but here we've got an up-close view of how rapidly this media universe is evolving and how legacy outlets just can't keep up. They haven't adapted to the ways people now consume news and entertainment, and they've utterly failed to respond to the tidal wave of disinformation flooding the marketplace. But here's the hopeful part. The success of MeidasTouch amidst this sea of disinformation and the rise of proto-fascist influencers is proof that there is still demand in the market for honest pro-democracy coverage. At MeidasTouch, we're unapologetic about where we stand. So while legacy outlets cling to both sides journalism, and while the manosphere celebrates the worst things about our political culture, we've chosen a different path, telling the truth without hesitation or compromise. Judging by the numbers, it's working. This community is thriving. Over the last decade, the U.S. has witnessed a steady growth in politically motivated, threatening online behavior, peaking around election cycles, with 3 in 4 voters reporting fearing political violence. I myself have had to take extra precautions to keep personal information private. The fact is, you can't always control whether you're a target, but you can make it harder for politically motivated threat actors to escalate threats by taking a proactive approach to the security of your personal information. As a person who exists publicly, especially as someone who shares his opinions online, I am hyper aware of safety and security, and it's easier than ever to find personal information about people online. All this data hanging out on the internet can have actual consequences in the real world. That's why I personally recommend Delete Me. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data brokers. Delete Me sends regular personalized privacy reports showing what info they found, where they found it, and what they removed. Delete Me isn't just a one-time service. It's always working for you, constantly monitoring and removing the personal information you don't want on the internet. To put it simply, Delete Me does all the hard work of wiping your and your family's personal information from data broker websites. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Today you get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting KEN20 to 64000. Text KEN20 to 64000. That's KEN20 to 64000. It's Ken Harbaugh. Quick break here to let you know that we'd love to hear from you. Your comments, suggestions, thoughts about future topics and guests. Email us at info@thekenharbaughshow.com and make sure to rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks, and back to the show. I honestly believe that we are part of the solution to the right-wing media echo chamber that has done so much damage to our democracy. And by we, I mean all of us, this community of MeidasTouch viewers and supporters. A few weeks ago, I asked you to send your stories and feedback via email. I had no idea how overwhelming and inspiring the responses would be. Your words, your experiences, your hopefulness, it's been incredible. And before I share a few of those stories with you, let me just say we read every email here on the Ken Harbaugh Show, and we do our best to reply. So bear with us while we ramp up. I'm not going to read directly from the emails because I forgot to ask permission when we first put out the call. So side note, if you do reach out and don't mind us quoting you on the show, let us know. But I got several notes. from fellow vets who think about the buddies they lost, some of them in combat, one in a training accident, and they wrote about the cost of freedom and how us standing up for it now against a would-be tyrant here at home is nothing compared to the sacrifices past generations have made. I got emails from people in red states who are staying put and advocating where they are for the people they care about, immigrants, trans kids, women, people who are most at risk from government reaching into their lives. And I got an especially moving email from a retired military chaplain who called himself average, but went on to describe his extraordinary devotion to this country in the most moving way. I'm still digging out from under this first wave of emails, and I am so glad for that. So please keep sending us your story ideas and your own stories, because this is why MeidasTouch works. It's why we've been so successful. It isn't about the numbers or even the headlines. It's about creating a platform, a space where truth can thrive, where that commitment becomes self-reinforcing because the community we've built demands it. I'm not going to pretend the threats we're up against aren't serious. They're real and they're growing. Trump is doing everything he can to demolish democratic safeguards. His nomination of people who we know will be loyal to him, not to the Constitution, not to the country, is something we've been warning about for years. I'm talking about Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, and now Kash Patel. These picks are part of a calculated plan to dismantle those institutional guardrails and entrench authoritarian control. But as much as they want us to feel powerless, we're not. Every email, every story, every time you engage with this channel, it's proof that we're not alone, that together we can push back against the lies and the chaos. And as exhausting and overwhelming as it sometimes feels, know that every time you show up, by voting, by speaking out, by encouraging each other and me right here, you're making a difference. You're proving that democracy isn't just a system or a philosophy, it's a commitment. Yeah, it's messy and frustrating, and sometimes it delivers, in the short term at least, bad results. But if we do our part, it usually is self-correcting. So to all of you who've written in, thank you. Your stories keep us going. And to everyone watching and listening, let's keep pushing. Let's keep building this movement and this network. MeidasTouch is special because of you. Your voices, your passion, your refusal to back down. That's what makes this more than just a podcast or a YouTube channel. Yeah, our media system may be broken. It certainly did not do its job of informing voters in this election. But together, we can help fix that. So let's keep it up. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being part of this fight.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.